it's time for Measure Twice.
Welcome to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger next to C. Kramer Interiors and Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're in the, it's funny, we're not a weather show, but we are in the studio, and at this moment where we are, it's red sky and morning.
Yeah.
And I've not seen that kind of red sky in a long time.
I haven't either.
It's pretty crazy. It's like maybe
you guys got to get up earlier.
we got to get up earlier.
What time do you get up?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Just when I get up.
When nature calls.
Yep. No, actually, that doesn't actually happen yet.
And Chris is like, in that case, I'm just not ever asleep.
I don't have that problem yet. So.
Oh, that's good. He's continent.
Yeah.
Is that a word? Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, because it's incontinent.
Right. Oh, there was another one that I
that all depends.
Oh.
That's good, Chris. I like that.
That's nice. That's right there. They get so much free publicity.
Yes,
that company, because it's like it's become the word for the word.
Yeah.
Like Kleenex and facial tissue.
Yeah.
Depends and incontinence.
Yeah.
I almost had a spit take from Chris there. That was nice. That was cool. Well, if you're not paying attention, we do nonstop talk about home remodeling and design here. Just nonstop. Yeah. Nonstop. Sometimes we like to play Stump the Band on here.
Oh, let's stump it.
But
let's do it.
I think, Joel, today we will play Annoy the Chris.
Oh, all right. I like it. I like it.
So if I were to ask you, Joel, what
his veins will start popping.
Yeah, what's the one? I was trying to think of the one that really gets him like, oh, it'll come.
See? Dead silence.
It'll come to us.
Yeah.
It'll come
There's
to
so
us.
many.
There's so many they couldn't think of one.
Chris,
the big company from Scandinavia.
IKEA gets them. IKEA gets them. But I was going to go through and talk about maybe some of the things that might get Chris's goat, or maybe some of the things that he has had to change, right?
Yeah.
Just because of things like let's just start with the easy one. So as a remodeler, Joel, when you meet with a customer and you go into their kitchen, are there things that you normally see that you are always say like that is obviously going to change? Like you walk in, you're like, I haven't talked to this person yet, but I know that's changing. What's like the first thing?
Oh boy. Countertops a lot of times.
Countertops? Okay, Craig. I know Chris was like, when's it my turn?
Yeah.
Fluorescent lighting.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Is that still out there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is tough in a kitchen. First of all, you can't even tell when your stuff's done. Well, but in a kitchen, things look differently under that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially those big plastic.
And that was a thing.
In the soffits?
For a little while.
I mean, it was put in soffits all the time.
So the whole room just glowed with that nuclear facility air to it.
Yeah, that's the first thing my eye would go to. Look at that. Oh, so that's the first thing that's got to go. We got to get rid of those.
Before we get into what that does to lighting, how hard is it to replace fluorescent lighting?
It's wire. I mean, the wiring's there. It's just a matter of what you're doing with it. So, for example, if it's in a soffit, is the soffit coming out? So, do we have to get the wires up into the ceiling? Are we adding some cans, or what are we doing? That way we get the wires where they need to go. It's not super difficult.
Soffits are number 2.
So when you see a soffit,
when I see a soffit, it gives me heartburn because inevitably the electrician and the plumber or the HVAC, they've just stuck stuff in it
because it's there.
Yeah,
because it's a space.
Rather than getting it keeping it in the wall and in the ceiling. It's just a space. They run it in there, and that's like you open it up, and inevitably you have to move stuff.
And what's the problem with that? I have an idea what the problem is, but
I mean, it's time and money.
Because there's boards that it's not like there's no frame above it. So if there's wire laid under that, you've got to take all the wire all the way back, right? And then put it on top.
A lot of times, depending on how it's run.
Yeah. That's
you got to get it all the way through there.
Have you ever been into a house where there's a soffit and that didn't happen? Like they did the right thing and
it actually has happened before. And that's like, oh man,
refreshing.
this is awesome. Whoever built this did it right.
Yeah, and that's kind of, that just adds time and money. So anytime you add time, you're adding cost.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's it's a dead heat.
And typically stuff is short because it's just dropped rather than run all the way up into the ceiling. So you're adding materials. Yeah, it's just soffits.
Do they have a wire stretcher or board stretcher? That's the classic carpenter joke.
Me too.
We need to figure out. You want technology.
Yeah,
Make
exactly. Somebody figure that out.
That's me. I'm the classic cut it too short and like, oh no.
That's why you measure twice.
That's right, sir. But fluorescent lighting in a kitchen is all bad. It's all bad.
Yeah, you don't get the proper lighting, number one. Besides unattractive, you don't get really good light.
Yeah, and you're cooking and food. A steak looks different under fluorescent lighting than
Everything looks different under fluorescent lighting.
No joke. When we owned the restaurant, the chef, when we took it over, the chef's like, new lighting, because you can't tell the steak. You can't tell things are done. You're not even. We need to be close to sunlight. That's what he wanted, closer to sunlight.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He needs all the colors in the to come out because it's like you're looking at food. Food looks different under a fluorescent light. Yeah, you can't. And then in the dining room also, because then your food comes out and looks weird because it's under a
everything
weird
looks
light.
different under fluorescent light because it changes its color spectrum.
And that's the thing. And then there's energy, and all that. Like that light helps you stay awake, but fluorescent lighting was. I can't even think of it in the garage anymore.
No,
not anymore.
Like
LED.
Yeah, it's kind of gone.
Yeah.
It's pretty much left in commercial, but now they have LED fluorescence. So
right, but and the advantage. So lighting is like you go in and you see fluorescent lights. You're like, okay, this is
first thing that's got to go. Even in a laundry room,
get them out. Well, what fluorescent in the kitchen? What era is that? 80s, 70s,
80s. I mean, even into the 90s, it was being done still.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because LED really didn't.
We really didn't start seeing LED until, I don't know, mid-aughts.
Mid-aughts.
and then it was just very little.
But it very quickly took over.
Yeah.
Very quickly. And there's some pretty fascinating kitchen lighting opportunities with LED.
Oh, yeah. There's just so much you can do with it now. That's why it's so versatile. With being able to change the color temperatures with each fixture, and
I just saw lit drawers.
You can light with the tape light and the different. Yeah, there's just so much you can do with it. It's just.
I love the lit drawers.
I love them too. Lit cabinets too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like you open the drawer and the light comes on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm my eyes. It just helps to see.
I am right there with you. And let me tell you, this was not like, I often talk about like being in like giant homes and looking around and seeing all this cool stuff. This was a completely middle class home. This was not like it was just, and she was just like, oh yeah, it was an option and it was not expensive. It was like barely added to the cost.
That's the beauty of it now too, is because it's just, the price is moderated. So it's feasible to do a lot of stuff with that lighting.
Oh, it was pretty cool. And you're right. When you get to a certain age, it's really neat to have that. It's
very helpful.
So, now this young lady, when she ordered the cabinet, she ordered it with it. But apparently the contractor said, well, he can add it to whatever cabinets you want. It's not very hard.
And then it's kind of like anything else. Once you have it, you never want to be without it again. Right. It's like soft closed drawers indoors. Yeah. Once you have it, you don't ever want to not have it.
Yeah. It's like heated seats in your car. Once you get them, tough to not have them.
Because, I don't have them up in the upstairs vanity, and man, you forget. Bam!
Oh, jeez, yeah.
He's up there slamming stuff.
Oops.
I'm not mad.
Yeah, the soft closed doors are. That's all. Like you don't realize it.
You take that for granted now.
Yep.
When are they going to have self closing hallway doors and stuff?
Like soft close.
Yeah, you should innovate that.
Well, why don't you? Well,
there are hinges. They do have hinges that are sprung.
Well, you can go a step further on that, and why don't they automatically open and close for you? So when you walk up to it, they automatically open. You get in there, they automatically close.
Like a supermarket.
Yeah.
When we come back, let's move on to the next thing that may or may not annoy Chris. This is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Customer Modeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, countertops, and the showroom now open in Granger right next to C. Kramer Interiors and Hoosier Hardwood Floors. Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're talking about how to annoy Chris.
Okay.
And we just talked a little bit about lighting because I think that's right. That's like lighting is kind of the first impression because if it was dark, you wouldn't see anything. I don't know how else to put it. Like that's fact. But what if you go in and you see mismatched appliances?
It depends.
Can that ever work?
Oh, yeah, it can work. But it doesn't. It depends.
When does it work?
When you have to make it work.
But you can let me just say, you can have mismatched appliances based on brand.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you have
when you say what
you're saying color?
Like color?
Well, that's where I'm going is that there's more than one way to mismatch. And I think one way might not be so bad, but the other way probably is. Like if you have stainless steel here and then
white,
right? That's probably a weird look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chris is like, it's definitely a weird look. And aren't there ways to recover that?
Yeah, buy new appliances.
So there's no way to like
make it work?
Yeah.
No. Not in a design world.
Not make it seem okay.
Unless you vinyl wrap your refrigerator or something. Which is a thing.
Yeah.
Is it a thing?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. You can vinyl wrap anything.
Change the color.
You mean vinyl sticky, like adhesive?
Like what you would do with a truck?
Okay, yeah, just like a wrap. Okay, good. Yeah. You don't mean like take a piece of
contact paper?
Well, I was thinking more of like a 4 mil piece of vinyl and like cover your.
No,
because there are refrigerators and appliances now that you can take and change the color at will, right? I mean, you can kind of have the panel in the front. I can't remember the brand. They're kind of high end.
I would imagine there is. I don't run into that. I mean, we do panelize stuff.
Yeah, that's not really mismatched though.
No.
But if you have different color, unless you vinyl wrap it, you said that's a thing. That means you've seen it?
I've seen it.
You've done it?
No.
It's something that annoys him.
No, it's not that. It's not.
He walks in and is like, vinyl.
Can you tell?
I've only seen it on HGTV.
So not in person, right?
Things, and it's like they got dinged for it.
Well, you would have to really be an expert vinyl wrap person to make that work
because you're full of bubbles. And I try to do it myself.
You'd have to have somebody to come in and do it.
Yeah, and eventually vinyl will not. It'll get brittle and all.
Well, and they said that's why they got. It was a competition where they did it, and the designers that were judging them said that, it's not long term.
No, it's like a 1-2 year issue, and then once you nick it, it's coming off.
But if you need to get by with something for 1 to 2 years, and it's an easy, affordable solution.
It's like
Yeah.
a flippers solution,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a house flippers.
Or if I couldn't afford to buy new appliances right away, but it was something I knew I would get to down the road, I would do it.
Yeah. Okay. What about mismatched size? Is there such a thing as like?
Well, they're kind of standardized, so I don't know how
You
you would
can't
mismatch
really-
You're saying
the
so if you
size.
do like a giant like Sub-Zero type side by side refrigerator
Yeah.
freezer, and then you have like a tiny little
a tiny
oven or something.
oven. That's actually where I was going. I was actually thinking the opposite.
But-
like you have one of those huge, Sub-Zero or Wolf stovetops, and then
like a 48-inch.
like kind of a smallish refrigerator. Doesn't match the amount of food you can cook on that.
Right? Yeah, that's true.
I was thinking that. I guess that doesn't really matter though.
It can. I can see where that could be. And I mean, but
Balance. It depends on where
Visual
everything's
balance.
put together.
Yeah.
It would balance wise. It would probably look a little wonky.
off. It would look off proportionally.
I think you're right. I think there is such thing as mismatched size. I think because if you go all out and then you have just like a drink refrigerator, or something like that.
Typically, if you have a 48-inch Wolf, you're going to have room for a bigger
Typically,
refrigerator.
yeah, they're pretty magnificent.
Yeah.
What's that?
Those giant.
Oh, the
Wolf
giant Wolf.
But what's the other brand? It's not just
Viking.
Wolf. Viking,
There's several. Gosh,
Sub-Zero now. Whirlpool has gotten into the game with their.
KitchenAid makes
KitchenAid
one that's decent.
I said Whirlpool. I meant KitchenAid. That
Yeah.
KitchenAid has a lot of style. I don't know how they function compared to the other ones at that level,
I mean, it's going to be, I don't know.
but they have that 50s look ish type. With the colored
Like
handles,
that's that big?
colorful handles and stuff. Yeah, it's like they're kind of like, there's like color on.
The handles?
Which
yeah.
one?
I don't know what the brand. I know it's
Wolf
KitchenAid,
you can do red or black,
right?
and
I thought KitchenAid you could order
you could.
all
Any
kinds
more
of different
colors,
colors.
you can. A lot of appliances anymore, you can change all the color. You can go purple if you wanted to on the.
I kind of think the red ones are kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun. I mean, you can have a lot of. You can really pull in some really fun color.
But if you did that, could you have any old refrigerator?
What?
Like, let's say you order like the Wolf and you make it red. Like you have all the red accents. Does your refrigerator then also need to have that? And
No.
then also your dishwasher, then also
No.
whatever else?
Your
you
mixer
put in
has
there?
to be red,
Your
though.
mixer should be red.
Has to be.
No, 'cause you're making the range, the kind of the focal point with the color, and the rest of it just kind of recedes.
Your fridge would match the finish of the range itself. You
Like
wouldn't
if
have
it's
to worry
stainless.
you
But
wouldn't
you
have
don't
to
need
worry
that.
about the accent color.
Right.
If you're
Now anymore, you can go in Big Chill as a refrigerator, makes refrigerators, but you can choose any color. It could be navy blue. It could be
Yeah, but those
Bright
are all
red.
pretty much like the vintage look, right?
yeah, it's the vintage look. They
are
look,
they round? Like
they look like a
Yeah,
1950s
yeah,
refrigerator.
like they all look like a VW bus.
Yeah, they're really
kinda-
cool.
Yeah,
The problem is you can't climb in and protect yourself from nuclear
no
fallout.
longer can do that.
No.
Oh, because back in the day,
Yeah.
they were pretty much lead and home insulation stuff
Yeah.
in there. But did they function well?
Yeah, they're really cool.
Because I've never seen one in person. I've only seen them,
They have them at Leaf Supply in their showroom.
and there's still enough room to put your milk. Because like one of the
Yeah.
reasons that everybody went away from that is because the lack of efficiency inside the
No,
thing.
there's,
was-
I mean, it's still a store. I mean, it's not like a French door refrigerator, but there's still plenty of storage.
yeah,
They're just. I mean,
It's
they're
just
a look.
cool.
And they're a look. I mean, if you want that
Mhm.
retro,
it's right there.
it's right there.
Yeah, we in the fraternity house we had an old school like from the '60s refrigerator that we turned into a kegerator.
Oh,
There you go.
You just drilled a hole in the door.
Yep.
And now, thinking back, I'm like, wow, we could have that today. You can refurbish it. I saw a guy online that he travels the country and finds the old one, the super old ones, and refurbishes them, puts new stuff in them, and you can have a retro. And then there's,
those things used to last forever,
oh my goodness, well, that's because they
and now they don't. So
It's because they had asbestos in them and
Yeah,
lead
they had-
and
have the stuff that kills you in them. That makes
Get that
then you're storing
generation-
your food in there.
yeah, it's
that's
like
the generation that's outliving us. So there you
Yeah,
go.
that's true.
just like the commercials from the 50s, like with our lead lined shelving,
Yeah.
You're-
Well, they're smoking their Camels.
yeah. Just like during the commercial.
Yeah.
That's really funny because Johnny Carson used to have the ads like right in the front and he would be like lit up and it's like, whoa. Yeah.
I just remember Territon smokers would rather fight than switch. And they always had a black eye.
Wow. Tough
That's
guy
funny.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
I need to see if they have any like old like advertising tins for my garage. Well,
I
that
bet
sounds
they'd
pretty
be
cool.
collectible.
That's pretty cool.
The refrigerators or
No,
the
No, it's like some sort
the
of
vintage
cigarette.
type ads.
oh yeah, like
The Marlboro Man, remember?
Rather,
Or you may
yeah.
not remember, but
R.I.P.
Marlboro Man.
Everybody remember. I remember that.
God rest his soul.
There was like 10 of them.
There was, like, yeah, there was the Marlboro Man and then the Winston Dude. You can't put him on a horse. The Marlboro Man's already on a horse. Where were we? Oh yeah, talking about mismatched appliances. That's a no-no. Probably should have matched. appliances.
You want cohesiveness.
Yeah. Just for the eye. I mean, if they function and that's what you need to have, I mean, that is what it is, you know. But if you have like a one-off appliance, and I mean like a garbage, what do they call it? Trash compactor? I think they're kind of coming back a little. Chris is showing off the Territon.
Yeah,
They always had a black eye. I remember they used to have TV commercials.
that's crazy.
Back when you could advertise that on TV.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah, see, they used to.
That is funny.
But our trash compactors coming back because I'm seeing.
No.
If people
I know
say,
3
say
people
they
would
want
have
one,
them.
I would say no.
Yeah, I have 3 people that have.
I
It.
haven't seen one of those, and the last time I saw one in somebody's house, it was put in like the 80s,
Yeah.
maybe.
This is
They take a lot of space, and they're really not as convenient as what you think they will be.
I agree. I just complimented him. I was like, oh, that's pretty nice. And I'm like,
You got taken.
yeah, like, do you have less trash now? I don't think you do. It's just,
It's just smaller.
yeah. But at any rate, when we come back, another thing that may or may not annoy Chris. This is Measured Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Customer Modeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential. We are being broadcast on. That's the other way to do it. But you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops with the showroom now open in Granger next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. Well, we were talking about mismatched appliances, and it turns out that's probably not awesome. I mean, like, if you're, you need to get by with what you have if that's
Right.
what you have to. But if you don't, that's you're putting the wrong focus in the wrong area.
Well, if you're doing a remodel, if you're building, just don't get mismatched.
Right. You wouldn't.
No.
And you wouldn't mismatch lighting either. If we want to go back to the first, you wouldn't have like fluorescent here and LED
No,
there.
You would never have fluorescent anywhere.
That's right.
Well, but
It's not a residential lighting option.
what do you
Shouldn't
think?
be.
This is going to get Chris either in trouble. I mean, I'm not doing it on purpose, Joel.
I know. I know pure intentions here.
But I don't know how he's going to answer this. When I really don't know. I have a feeling. Are you ready, Chris? Are you sitting down?
I am sitting down.
He's right. How do you feel about stencils on walls?
Oh,
Sayings like "This is our kitchen," or like
actually,
family, friends, and traditions, or like,
I've never really thought about it, to be honest with you.
which means what? You've never done it?
I've never done it.
Yeah. Okay. I think we have his answer. He's
I've
just
done
trying not to
stenciled
offend people.
walls with
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when people put
like
like
actual
like sayings.
sayings up there.
I know some designers freak out over that. It's your personal space. If that's your part of your design, I'm not going to go.
just get a sign. Why wouldn't you just get a sign that says that?
But some of them do, and those are some have signs, some have it stenciled on their walls. So it doesn't bother me, I guess.
Yeah, I guess if it's tasteful.
If it's tasteful and it's, I'm not in there to say, hey, get rid of that. If they like it, that's part of their decor. That's
right. Right. You should do what you want in your house.
Personality, that's fine. They should be able to do what they want.
And you will work around it.
Right. It's called paint. I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
I got to ask you, have you seen a canopy bed in a long time?
No. A 4-poster.
But not a canopy.
Not necessarily a canopy.
My sister had a canopy bed growing up, and it, now that I'm like retrospective, like kind of look weird because it's like having a tent in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, I like them though. I like it.
But wouldn't you need like 20-foot ceilings
you
or
definitely
something?
need. I would think you'd need taller
Most
ceilings.
posts are like 90 inches. If you have, so.
But wouldn't it be too close to the ceiling?
Maybe that's what you want. But I mean, I think a canopy bed's pretty.
Yeah. I feel like it could work, but you would need like 10-foot.
I like a higher ceiling.
Yeah,
just so
higher
you
ceiling.
have a little bit more space between the.
Because if it goes like right up, it's kind of like when cabinets go.
Oh, it bugs me. When there's this much space, 3-4 inches, it's like, why?
Why not just go all the way
Why didn't you
up?
take it up? That's a dust collector.
Or at least put trim all the way up.
Oh, yeah, I see a lot in new construction where there's this much space between the cabinet and the ceiling.
Why?
In new
Thank
construction?
you. It's like, yeah, like why?
Because you could just put trim, right? You could just finish it.
Yeah,
Or
could
you
build
take
out
them
your
to the
trim, or you push
ceiling.
them up. Well, depends on the ceiling height and what your cabinets are.
These are like 8-foot ceilings, maybe, but they're just, or maybe even 9-foot ceilings. But they leave 3 or 4 inches, just enough to get your hand in there to clean the top.
Oh, yeah. I can't say. I mean,
Why?
it gets me in new construction, but
Or even remodeling.
Even
It's like,
remodeling, though, you have a minute.
No.
Huh?
I don't understand that either.
I don't either, but I see it all the time.
I mean, Joel, have you ever had a homeowner go, and I want to leave about a 1.5, 2.5 inch gap between my.
No.
I don't think they had I don't think it was done for that homeowner. In other words, I think it was done either in a remodeling or a flipping or
Right.
where there was no one to ask.
But I mean, you should know.
You should know. I think you should know.
I think we can all agree, and I think I'm speaking for every single person listening. That's probably not cool. And if you have that right now, you can probably go to a box store, get some trim, and fix it.
I would think so, yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have to stain it to match and stuff.
Or paint. And most of it's painted. But
Yeah. But that's not. You're right. See, I knew we'd find something that actually.
yeah, I just don't get it.
I don't get
What's
it.
the extra step? I mean, it's easy.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have a problem when people make a television the focal point of a room?
No, that's a reality.
It's
It's just something you do that you deal with, that you have to work with.
And would you say to put other stuff next to it, or just leave it as the focal point on the wall?
It's not. I wouldn't call that my focal point necessarily. Depends on how it's if it's mounted to the wall and there's a piece underneath it. Yeah, you can accessorize the piece underneath it just to make it look a little
Right.
warmer.
Right.
But if it's just hanging on the wall and nothing underneath it,
Kind of strange.
you can hang artwork around it.
It's kind of. Yeah, I guess you could. Which rectangle are you going to look at?
Anymore, the art TVs are becoming really popular.
And you have to explain to the audience. Maybe not everybody knows what an art TV is.
It looks like a piece of art hanging on the wall. You can download different images, and some of them are framed. But it looks you think you're looking at a piece of art.
It's a real thing.
When the TV's not.
Yeah, when the TV's not on,
yeah.
it's a piece of art.
Real easy to Google. You can see what we're talking about. It really does look like a piece of
It
art.
does.
Like
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like if you ever gone into like one of those haunted houses where they have the portrait and the guy's just like standing there, like, and then he comes out of the. It's way more realistic than that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And you can download hundreds of images. You can change it. So
Now you can do that on your TV right now, but there's no frame around it.
Right.
Like it's not set up that way. It's like hard to
Right.
explain. Like it actually looks like you bought a painting,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
put it on the wall.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I've gone into homes and thought it was a piece of art.
And now there's TVs coming out. They're super expensive right now, but with the bleeding edge
The what?
technology where it's like you can't see the edge of the TV. There's no
Yeah.
There's no frame.
at all. It looks like the whole thing is
Screen.
screen.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It's cool. It's cool. They're a little pricey, and
Yeah, give it a couple years.
generally you need a sound system.
Hmm.
You know, like a
Yeah.
but it's got
It's funny to think you buy a new tech TV thinking it's technically advanced, and then 6 months later it's already dated.
that's the way it goes, right?
I know.
Go ahead,
It's
buy a
that-
laptop. If you buy a laptop, don't continue to shop for them because you're going to feel like you got ripped off because the one you bought is going to go down 20% a month or something.
Yeah.
You know, some
Yeah.
number like that. You're like, what? Just like if you're on an airplane, don't ask the person next to you what they paid because they may have paid a lot less than you.
Yeah.
You know, but you're right. Technology's this doesn't stop going.
No. Nope.
Just,
Keeps advancing.
but TVs are cool. And you know what gets my goat is wires. And I have a wire in my house that I can't figure out how to bury or hide.
Yeah.
You talk to this guy.
Yeah, I should. I really don't know what to do because it's
We'll punch a hole in that wall and just
Feed
stuff it
through.
down there.
Yep. Feed it through. Then repatch and dry. Just
paint the whole room and then
Yeah.
like that's
good
I
as
think
new.
No big deal.
No big deal.
my question is why on earth they would put the cable inlet there and the TV on a different wall. I don't understand.
When was it built?
My house is only 5 years old, six
Then
years
that's
old.
just a terrible design on the builder's part.
Yeah.
Or the homeowner who built it said, "I want it there."
Well, if we want to, I don't want to make this about me, but there's a media station where the TV is. So they thought it out. There's a media station there.
Oh, but they didn't put the cable hookup for it. That's weird.
Yeah. It's wild. It's like, no, this house is going to use antenna. I don't know what they were thinking.
You're just going to have to get the wireless. You can do that in your house pretty easy. Or it
Okay.
doesn't have to hook up to the cable.
Well, but the cable runs it's not so much for the TV. The TV's completely wireless. So
Right.
the TV's handled. It's really the router that I'm upset about because I can't put the router there. Like it's
Yeah.
between two windows. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, it's really crazy dumb.
That is.
Crazy bad.
I have Amish TV
What's that?
So none?
antenna.
Is that even Amish? That's not even.
Yeah,
That's,
I know it's not even. They don't
you have like
TVs.
ham radio. You're a ham radio operator.
If it's not, it's powered by gas. I don't know.
Yeah.
At the one
It's
place
the
that
kerosene.
the one place you're working, they have a like World War II style antenna.
Yeah,
Up
that
there.
thing is
Yeah.
crazy.
Where is this?
It's up in
A project
Michigan,
that
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's wow, I don't know how tall you'd say that would be, but it's
I mean, it's
40
gotta
feet,
be
I would think.
40, 50. I was going to say 50 feet probably.
Yeah, it's up there, and then it has the array, like two arrays on it, like the giant old TV array, and then it's got like the hoop repeat, like ham radio, like
Yeah.
communication, like
I wouldn't
outward.
be surprised if they had a hand radio.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
Like a that's classic. Oh my goodness, we're out of time. But when we come back, the last thing that's going to annoy Chris, I promise you, this is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Customer Modeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential. You're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors. Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're getting Chris's goat today, but we're not. He's
Yeah,
being real
he's-
easygoing.
yeah.
Let's go with the flow, Chris.
Extra Xanax this morning.
Yeah, an extra. You put whipped cream on one. It was like a dessert. It was a dessert Xanax.
Yeah. The whiskey in his coffee,
Yeah.
though, was probably a bad
Yeah, that
mix.
was
Not a good
probably
mix.
the bad
Not a
mix.
great
Yeah.
mix, no.
Yeah, like, treat that like a cordial. A breakfast cordial. Is that normal?
Hey, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
That's true. Heroes and overachievers.
Don't give my secrets away.
Okay, so we're talking about like weird design stuff, and this one, there's a couple of things that it gets my goat. So I feel like this will get your. I can't stand furniture that is angled. I don't like it. So like you cut a corner, like so you have a corner and you just cut the corner with the furniture, like you just
Because you
angle
lose so
it.
much space.
Yeah, it just bothers me. But I don't know. Does that bother you as a designer? You're just like, forget that 10 by 10 area over there.
Yeah.
Angles can work if they're planned to work. In other words, you don't just walk. Angles take up more floor space.
Right.
So if you angle one piece, everything should be angled.
Okay. I think that's blowing my mind a little. Like, what do you mean?
I don't mind a clock angled in a corner. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, right. When you only take up a little
bit. But if you're angling a sofa and that's angled,
You have to work off
of that, and everything else should be angled to be proportional with it.
So your sofa becomes the straight edge, so to speak.
Yeah, so you're kind of like, if this is your sofa, well, nobody can see that, but anyway. If one thing is angled, that whole arrangement should be angled.
From there, instead of using the walls.
And rarely do angles work because spaces aren't usually large enough to accommodate the angles.
So if you're in
my old house, just because of how our living room was set up, we had an armoire for our TV, and for it to be actually visible, so that was the one thing we had to angle.
But it's an armoire.
But that doesn't bother. That's not bad.
It's not coming out into the room.
But
you know what I mean?
You're losing a ton of. There was a little bit of space though that we lost.
But it was like little. I'm talking like when people just pretend that corner's not there.
Yeah.
The one thing that I don't like on an angle is a fireplace.
Yeah.
Like an alpine lounge.
In a room when they're built, the fireplace is built in on an angle.
Not good.
Well,
it messes the whole room up.
Yeah,
it
how are
does.
you supposed to set up on that?
It's so difficult to arrange the room around that.
I can think of a house right now that when we were looking for a house had that. And now that you think about it, I remember my wife going, there's just something I don't like about the room. I can't put my finger on it because it was furnished and they kind of set it up. But I bet that was like an uncomfortable feeling. Like
angled fireplaces are difficult. It would not be my preference.
Like, I can think of a house that I've worked in a couple of times that the fireplace is maybe 3 feet from the corner, from the wall.
Oh yeah,
it's like, what in the world?
It's not in the center.
Terrible.
It's on the side.
That's almost like having it angled.
You know where I see that a lot? In Philly, living in Philadelphia, those row homes, they would stagger the fire.
That would make more sense.
Like the homes are plugged
it had
against
to
each
be
other.
done.
Yeah, so you'd walk in and the fireplace is like 6 feet from the
right,
but you had like a 15-foot span on to the left of it and a 6 foot on the other side.
I recently saw one where the wall is angled and the fireplace was a 3-sided fireplace. So the end of the wall was the fireplace.
I think that's neat.
Oh boy!
No, look at his face.
If you're in a ski lodge, that's great.
No, well,
that's what I mean.
It looked like they just stuck
hotel.
a fireplace at the end of a wall because it was. It would look bizarre.
Mind you, I've never seen that in a house, but I've seen it in hotels. Where they have like a fireplace, and then on this side's like a sitting area, and this side's
but this was like, if this is your wall.
Okay.
This was like it was the wall that angled, and behind it was like the foyer or something. So it was just kind of like this wall was floating out there, and this fireplace was just kind of stuck in there.
So you can't use it for anything. You can't.
Weird.
It really wasn't in a room?
No.
It was just at the end of it's just like in a space.
Yeah, in a space.
This is the fireplace space.
Don't bump into the fireplace.
Yeah.
I want a fireplace, but I don't know where to put it. Oh, put it in this.
We'll just leave it there till we use it. I don't know. I don't know.
Look, you can see it from 3 sides.
Now, I've seen the ones like when you go to like a lodge or something like that where the fireplace is in the center.
Oh, those are cool.
That's pretty neat. That's cool.
Well, that's a totally different application.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a TV in the room. Like it's not. This is not
Right,
a.
this is a-
Yeah, I've seen one and they had cushions all the way. I mean,
Yeah.
considering, it's so
Yeah, it's neat. It's
it
pretty
was so
cool. And a big like the one I'm thinking of had
Like
a
the big chimney
copper
over the top,
chimney.
Yep.
You know that.
Yep.
And it was a huge area to burn stuff.
Yep.
It was big. I mean, it was
You could have roasted a pig.
probably could have done that. Mongolian? Anybody? You know, like
Yeah.
we could have just started.
You just have people there
Yeah,
rotating the pig on the fire.
guy in like a diaper. Just the sweaty dude just hanging out near the fire.
That all depends.
Hi-oh, that's a callback, my friend. Now, those of you who didn't listen to the first segment aren't going to get that. But angled. Now, here's the other thing that really it's not even it's so bad for my wife it can't happen, and that's if somebody like lines a table up and it's not like directly under the light.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Like, but I've been places where that's what's going on.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's tough.
Ugh.
it is.
It's just
Sometimes you can move them depending on how the joists run, but
again, that's the builder's fault. To put a lamp in to put like the hanging thing in a place where you can't possibly put a
Well,
table and make it work. The
There's a
nooks.
way to work around it
Right.
typically
Yeah.
when you're doing the framing or when you're doing the rough-in with the electrical. There are ways to work to make sure.
but sometimes in the building process too, they don't know what size furniture you have, so they're kind of just placing it with maybe a round table and chairs, and somebody's coming in with
a
a
rectangle.
rectangular, and it doesn't quite.
It's every time like
fit.
that's what's
Yeah.
going on. Where
So it's not necessarily the builder's fault. They're just
Well, I
trying to
think-
figure out.
Like I think of my kitchen and where my island has to be so that there's the appropriate amount of space around it. The light was, because this was remodeled before us, the light was not centered on the island that is over the island.
Oh, that would bug me.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
yeah, well, the breakfast nook causes that too. Like when they have like the little build out that's clearly designed for two people to sit at, and like your whole family can't possibly be there.
Right.
That kind of jacks it up too, because now if you want a table everybody can sit at, it cannot be under the light. But I digress because it's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. This is Measure Twice.
Podcasts by Federated Media.